practice.
True.
I've been playing with no HUD. I'm telling you, it's giving me superpowers.
Okay.
What?
Who just said that?
Holly, of
Me.
course.
Ali, you're delusional.
You guys say this, but when I hit Radiant, there's gonna be another. It's
Ali,
gonna be
you've
another
been telling me
uproar.
you hit Radiant for the past 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, on this
Year,
account when I hit
years,
Radiant, yeah.
Like, I don't know, Ali.
Every single, ever since I've known Ali, he's been saying he's hit Radiant.
Yeah, he's starting to become a little unbelievable now.
On my last account, my other account, I hit Radiant, man.
Yeah, whatever, buddy. Try and recover it.
You actually got me when I like joined the team back in the day, and I like didn't know everyone, and then you said you hit Immortal or Radiant or something. I was like, no way, right? And I like believed it though. I was like, oh man.
Jump in the
This
screen
guy
or in
good.
the stream. Let me know if the text is too small to read.
It's good.
It's good.
I can see it.
Okay. These are going to be our basic callouts for bind. You guys should know most of these. Irfan, you're gonna have to adjust because I know the callouts in EU are a bit different. But the
You're
ones
missing
that
an egg on there.
egg. What the fuck is egg?
You don't know what egg is?
No.
He's fucking with you. There's no
Yeah.
egg.
No, it's like
That's-
behind B site tube, like the little box. That's
Like
called
here?
egg.
Oh, I see.
Like,
This
yeah,
one.
yeah.
This is egg.
Oh yeah, that's egg.
Am I penciling in egg here?
Or do you just say backside?
Yeah, I just say backside. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay. So just a couple ones to note here, because these are usually the ones that get confused. This is inside, we're gonna be referring to as U-Haul, and out here we're gonna be referring to as pillar.
I like that.
Back here, if you're in game, this whole area there's a big ass gate, so we're just gonna call this gate. This whole stretch here, we're gonna be calling market. This whole lane here will be graffiti. You guys should know this is garden or octagon. We'll refer to it as garden. This spot here, we're going to be calling lumber. And this will be B cubby, A cubby. This one is important. A lot of people refer to this as cubby as well. This is going to be dark. And this is gate. So we got to kind of clean up our comms when it comes to A site, because there's a lot, like, people in matchmaking always say cubby, 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 and it causes a ton of confusion, right? So we'll try to clean those up.
Will this be like us specific, or like what do pro teams call those, dark and gate?
Well, everybody has slightly different callouts for this kind of stuff. We've, like, most of the people that have been on the team for the last couple of years, we've always called this dark. So we're gonna stay with the consistent callout just so it's easier. This is a new one. I changed this callout because now that we have a player that's from EU, it's gonna get confusing as hell. But we used to call this lamps and this U-Haul. But
what?
Yeah, for Irfan, that's gonna be confusing as shit. So we're just gonna say U-Haul, pillar. Vents. A lot of the time people just say CT, but we want to be more specific. So this is vents, and anything here will be CT. Anything here beside the door will be hull, and then here we'll be calling just door. On top of this, we will call shed, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. Everybody should know most of these by now. It's just those really specific ones. So, the ones
Is it me?
What's up?
Sorry. Is it me, or does everyone, like, when we say heaven, does everyone know what we mean by hell? Because I always sometimes just call that hell
Look here
as well. Yeah.
Hell is always
That's like
below
a
heaven.
that's like a
pretty
deep.
self-explanatory.
No, yeah, that's a default for like any map. If there's a heaven, there's a hell.
Yeah, this gate callout is more specifically like this corner.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if anybody's kind of in this range, if you say hell, they'll know what you mean. But if you want to say that somebody's specifically holding this angle, then call gate.
Sure.
I wanted to come up with a call out for here because it's pretty common for teams in like post plant to hold this position to like watch for the players that are coming in vents. If anybody has an idea for what to call that, I went in and I looked, and there's a sign here that says loading dock, but I was thinking like, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I think everyone like manually just clears that when you retake, and then like if you die, you'll have somebody like right behind you that knows they're there.
Yeah, it's more if we're ever in a situation where, like, say a player is retaking from heaven and vents and we have a player short. Like if you guys are all coming in from this angle and
That's
here and then here, it's a lot easier for players if instead of just saying, "Oh, he's back sight," you know, that could mean anywhere over here.
Yeah.
Whereas if
I
if this
know.
player knows specifically that he's here and this player knows he's here, then they can just swing out and peek that angle, right?
We can call it there.
Nice.
He's
Okay, bro.
there.
Yeah, thank you for
He's right
that
there.
addition,
He's,
Daniel.
yeah, right. He's right there, and everyone knows what
Anyways,
that is because every other
moving
part of the
on.
map has a call out. So if you say he's there, it's
Oh,
obviously there.
We're moving forward.
I was thinking of calling this like, I know it doesn't look like it, like it's not actually one, but calling this like trapezoid just because of the slanted shape here.
No,
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Quadrilateral.
No. Let's call it
Quadrilateral.
Or he's trapped.
UPS.
Half of
UPS?
us, half of.
Look,
Can we
if you
just
draw
call it
like a
back
line,
walls?
it looks like a truck.
It does, yeah. This like.
But then that's truck.
Can we just call
UPS.
it back wall?
We can
Yeah,
call
or
it
like
back wall.
tuck, or like.
Tuck is
Back
good.
wall.
I like tuck.
That's too many syllables. I feel like.
Okay, just do tuck.
Yeah,
I think
we'll
is
call this
probably the
tuck.
best.
I think Mia Malkova is a good one.
Uh-huh. Wow,
We
that's
can call it like
Oh.
Amazon Day delivery or something.
so we'll call this tuck then. Boom,
Beauty.
easy.
Truck and tuck.
Fucking tuck.
It's not
Oh,
gonna say a
yeah.
lot of callouts.
Rock and
Okay.
tuck, baby.
You know what? We got through this so quickly that we might as well just go through another map too while we're at it.
Sure. Can we do fracture? I feel like
Yes, that's a good idea. Here, let me pull fracture open. One
Split?
sec.
No, just kidding.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, there's so many gay corners in the fracture.
yeah, it is impossible to clear
Gay
some
corner
things.
1, gay corner 2, gay corner 3.
Like
Yeah,
the
we're not gonna be
one
using any of those. I don't think I have
got
to
man got
explain why.
numbered now.
Okay, I'm gonna open another instance of MS Paint. I tried to use like the Epic Pen app to do this, but like Discord doesn't capture it because technically it's an overlay.
Hmm.
Which was super
That's how you should.
fucking
That's how you
lame.
should do this over Twitch. You know.
Yeah, and then everybody
you-
can go see our strats and then counter us easily. I did think
No,
about
so
doing that.
We
but-
we can have we can have fake practice sessions. You know, to throw them off.
Oh yeah.
How much
It's all
time
about
do
the
you think we
numbers,
have?
bro. It's
How
you gotta
much
get
time
those
do you
Twitch
think we
numbers.
have?
Okay. So we are back in Fracture. You guys can see everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just get the standard easy ones out of the way. We know this is dish.
Okay, but what would you call that? The little thing, like under dish.
What the
Like
fuck are
okay,
you talking about?
go down
Yeah.
and then go to the right and then go up, like that
Here?
little part. Yeah, what do you call it? No. That under.
Here?
That little. Yeah. Someone you can sit there.
I don't think we need a specific call out for this. Like if you guys are moving in here, you can just say he's left.
Well, that whole area is just drop.
Yeah, this is all.
Yeah,
this is
close
all-
ramp. Yeah.
That area is
Yeah.
called drop.
He's in the corner of drop. I don't know. Fuck.
This is all ramp or drop. I like drop
Uh,
better.
And if
Yeah,
it's like in that cubby, it could just be like drop cubby or something. Like
Yeah.
let's use the drop for it.
I'll just put this like there. Okay. On site, I think we can call this whole area heaven. And then
Just stairs.
underneath it is stairs here and then hell. I should clarify A stairs. There is stairs.
I
on
usually
here as
call
well.
like under just default.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't think-
default
yeah,
refers
it's just citing-
specifically to one position, right? Like default is only. Let me get my pen on here. Default is only this spot.
Yeah, I refer to that as default.
So I'll make a. Here. We'll do a little arrow to that spot specifically, and we'll label that default. And I'll post all of this so you guys have it. Just to reference
you.
and start keeping watch on.
It's default number 2. The corner. What do we call that?
Alternate.
Alt.
Aim in
That's
plant,
a lot of syllables.
main
Yeah, I just-
plant or something like that.
Is-
I,
yeah,
I just say
alt
alt.
plants?
I just say alt.
Alt
Yeah.
plants or alt would be
Alt.
more.
Just alt.
Just alt. Yeah, we'll go
Yeah.
for alt because I think that's good as well.
Yeah, that's good.
And this is gonna be hard. Can this fucking I hate this. There we go.
Everybody better study up. When I call for a plant alt, we better plant alt.
There's one
Okay,
weird.
what if you're calling alt, but that's not things you're calling for them to alt?
Oh yeah, that actually
So
might
they
be an issue.
accidentally, like, let's say you have a Brim on your
Alt
team, and they go
plant.
alt,
Yeah.
and then he just
Yeah,
alts.
but if you say plant,
Yeah, it's
Plant
very
alt.
specific. Unless they release a character where it's like their alt is planting, then I don't know.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no, like what if there's someone alt when you retake, and you just go alt, and then they alt.
You just
say
add
alt
plant,
plants,
I think.
alt
Yeah.
like you have to add the plant to it. Yeah.
or alt
Yeah.
spot
Like
or something.
They planted alt. Or wait, no, we need no. We
What if
can't
someone's
call it
hiding in
alt.
alt?
We need
Why?
to call that area. No, we need to call it a specific name because people play that angle, right?
Yeah,
And
that's what
we're-
I'm talking about.
And we don't want to call them out like, hey, they're alt.
Right, like breach altar.
Yeah. Like
yeah, that
that
is-
corner has to have its own name
Yep.
because it's very common.
Okay. I could jump into the
Um,
map real quick and see if there's anything of note in that area, or we could even just call this like.
Call it 90 for 90-degree.
I'm already in game if you
Angle.
want me
That's
Is
to.
there
gonna
a
get
problem
confusing,
calling?
'cause-
Is there a problem calling it just hell?
This
For
area?
that
But then-
specific-
In my games, we have B safe and we have A safe. A safe is what you guys are
Safe.
referring that corner to.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, I like that.
Just because when you're tucked into that corner, you're safe from all angles except for post plant, which is a-holes.
Beauty.
Perfect. So this is.
Be safe though is literally the worst position you can play in. Almost.
Isn't that that's danger, right? That's. Are you talking like this
Yeah.
spot here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
this
whole
one.
area.
I
is
call
just
that,
like,
yeah, I call that one.
that
safe.
is a death trap and a half.
Yeah.
I love those angles for some reason. I play that all the time.
It depends what scenario it is. If it's like
Yeah.
a full retake, then you can till you just die.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So this is all. This is hall. This is door.
Ropes.
This is Do we want to call this ropes or tower?
Uh,
Ropes for nest, I guess.
use ropes because
I use ropes. I use
tower.
tower for
Towar's
B.
B.
Okay.
Yeah,
So ropes, door, hall.
sand as well.
Do we have the
That's it.
map actually open for like what the default names are on the map?
I could pull it open, but a lot of the default names are like not actually used in game,
Okay.
or they're like too general.
What do we
Sorry,
call-
what did you say,
That whole
Cal?
area is just sand.
We
Oh,
call that
sorry.
sand.
That's a good call out. I'll have to remember that one. I don't think I've ever used that before. Okay. I like to call this part elbow. Do we need we might want one here. We might want to call out for this like stack of boxes here.
Just call it Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
He's Quinn, he's
Yeah.
Quinn. That's funny.
Oh man.
Can you even do that wall anymore?
Yeah, you can.
He's Quinn. He's boosted Quinn. Quinn's boosted.
That's gonna be
Wait,
so
I saw a
confusing.
TikTok
when I'm
of
playing.
I saw a TikTok of like some icebox walls, and
Yeah.
you know the nest B site plant where you
Yeah.
play for kitchen,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, and then he jumped over. You know how there's that little door thing? He did a one way on it. So then you play kitchen, and it's a one way to the bomb.
Oh.
It's actually dirty. You should find it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I mean, some of those though, they take so much setup and they're so situational that you'll never get them down.
Yeah, that's I
Yeah.
had that same trouble with like Cypher, is there was so many like creative one ways and stuff you could use, but they were so fucking situational, you just never use them.
Mm.
Yeah, like a lot of those plants where you have to get on site, you have to plant in a very specific spot, you have to wall it a certain way with like a weird wall, and you have to have control of like the entire site plus half the map. It's just so difficult.
Yeah.
Well, like that would be a set play to just go mid to the plant there.
Yeah.
Generator.
I always mix those two up.
Can't see it in
Yeah.
generator.
Yeah, because I forgot like which. Sorry. Arcade as well. Oh, I guess you're doing.
Arcade here.
I call that
if
dices.
I call Tower Heaven, do you guys know what I mean?
Yeah,
probably.
If you say B heaven, that'll be clear enough, I think.
Well, when we're like retaking B, a lot of times I just say one.
It'll be
side.
context heavy, so it'll be.
Exactly.
You'll understand. Yeah, we'll understand what you mean. Some weirdo in comp. I called it heaven. He's like, "Where's heaven?" Like, it's the place up high. Like, just look up.
Look up.
I swear it's not that hard of a concept.
It's really not. Okay, and then I believe the call out for what do we call this area here? This is just connector, right? A connector.
Sure.
I did
Or
like
A
I
column.
just
if
call
they're
it-
retaking from there, I just call it
Yeah,
CT.
spawn.
Yeah.
Like, they're coming
You
from-
called
yeah.
this CT?
The whole
Well,
thing.
if they're
That
peeking
is
from
CT.
either
Yeah.
side towards A or B, I call it CT. Like they're peeking
Yeah.
through CT.
Okay, we can call it
because they can go
both,
either
it's
way,
easy
so it
for you
doesn't really
guys.
matter.
And you can just say deep CT if they're like
Mm.
in it or whatever.
No,
I don't
that
know.
works. Okay, so we'll just call this CT spawn.
Holy shit!
What?
I just realized something.
What?
Sand.
Yeah?
What are we gonna call that corner in sand?
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
That's a good question. We don't have a
Sandbox.
Oh yeah,
I
sandbox.
mean, you can just call
Sandbox.
it wall bang.
Sandbox.
I like sandbox.
sandbox.
I don't like saying don't say wallbang because there's the wallbang on site is really common.
Oh, that is. Wait.
Yep.
That
Sandbox.
is true, I guess.
Easy.
Okay. And then we'll call the other box here wallbang. Although wallbang might get confusing, because
Yeah.
people might think it's like hell or heaven here too.
Say one.
So, what is this? This kind of
Jump.
jump. That's a good one.
Yeah, jump
Use
up.
jump. Alright, that's good. I don't see any other major
Under. Like on
like
the
here.
B side. No, on B. Like when you
Under-
cross over from
underpass?
arcade.
Yeah,
Yeah,
call that
underpass.
underpass.
Right. Underpass.
I think people call that box headshot
This one?
or something. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. we can call it
I've heard
headshot.
it a few times in ranked.
Because it's a headshot angle.
Okay.
We call that deep arcade box something.
This one?
So many people lurk there.
Right here.
Yeah. So many people hold that box on either end. Like, yeah, that one.
Just call it the rat spot, you know?
Yeah, can we just
should
call it
we should
rat?
get a call out for this too.
Mhm.
Because a lot of you'll see, especially with neon, a lot of
Uh,
neons will just like charge out here early and then just hold this angle on you
bench?
and you can't see them.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is
bench.
bench. That's bench.
That's a good call. Yeah.
Good one.
Can we have bench and rat?
Or like lurk or yeah, rats.
Bench red. I always call this Tetris. This box here.
Sure.
Because sometimes you'll get like somebody holding flank or something like right there. I mean, other than that, I mean that's.
Hey,
that's
by
kind
the
of
way,
all those we need. What's
like
up?
it's kind of cool that we're naming the boxes Quinn, but at the same time we're playing with Quinn.
Yeah, I
It
know.
won't make sense.
Fair.
Hey, one's Quinn, one's Quinn. Like it's gonna be really confusing.
Then just do Quinn with two ends.
Just call it Q.
Oh yeah.
Just call it
Quinn.
Q. No, just call it Q.
Q is good. Q is good.
Dude, the fact that when you were talking about that box, I was already confused is probably a good reason to change it.
Yeah,
I
no.
was like, why is he talking about Quinn here? He's Quinn
Yeah.
back calling out. Like, oh, that's
There. That's Q now. Okay, we've got. You know what? These are
Quinn's
going by
happy
so
to see that.
quickly. We might as well
He's got a
go
dedicated
through other
spot.
ones as well. Is there any other? I think Breeze is a good one to go through too. Like all the newer maps that people haven't really played that much, or haven't had like much experience with the team on, would probably be helpful. So let's. I'll save this and post it right now.
Ali, who's that in the photo?
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
Oh,
Wait,
you.
is he
Thank
li-
you.
I think he's lying. He's lying to you.
All you
What
met
photo?
friends
Stop
on
letting
there.
him trick you. That's not him.
Wait,
It
which
could be him.
photo?
Who knows?
His profile.
Oh, his
picture.
profile.
Yeah, I swear he's lying.
That's
Every
Yeah,
time
no,
Ali
that's him,
talks,
that's him,
I
bro,
don't know
that's
if he's
him.
trolling or not.
No, he's posted a selfie with his uniform on.
No, it's me. I swear.
Yeah, but who knows? That might be him as
I
a
can
kid.
confirm
don't
it's
know.
him. One of my friends is in reserves with him, and she was talking about you. It's Maggie Jones.
Maggie Jones.
She met you in the smoke pit, and you said she asked like why you joined the reserves, and she
Reserves.
said that you said to just to kill Afghanis or some shit.
Yes. Yes, I do recall this. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
Said
know,
she
can't
wants
totally be
to.
serious
link
or
it
not.
there.
She said she wanted to join the
Yeah.
RCMP. I
And
was
I've
like,
seen
what the-
Ali in person.
Yeah.
That could
Okay.
be him as a kid. Who knows?
That's not me. I'm kidding.
All right.
My girlfriend's
Liar.
met more people on the team than me.
True. Dude, that time I fucking ran into her at work was so creepy.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Alex went in
Yeah.
for dinner where she worked, and we sat down, and she came over, and she's like, are you Tyron and Alex? I'm like, what the fuck? How do you know my name?
Yeah, she
Never
said
seen
she
her
freaked
before.
you out. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of a weird thing to come up to someone and say. Like,
Dude, I was just caught so fucking off guard. I didn't know how to respond.
yeah.
And then she told me that then I like figured out it was Amy, and I was like, oh fuck. Oh, now I feel like a dick.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get this open. Which one is it? 3. Okay, there we go. I should just put my screen on, but whatever. Okay. Wow, this is already confusing.
Okay, can you go to B? Like you know the half wall, right?
Are you talking this one here?
Yeah, no, the half wall, half wall.
Oh,
Like the
like
one.
there's
No,
a
no, no,
lot
no,
of
no, no,
half
no, no,
walls.
no, half wall, the
You're right. Upper
Between
right.
The normal wall.
Here?
The ones
yeah,
that
that one.
Okay.
Because people get confused a lot. I think that one's half wall, right?
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I agree.
Just you saying half
one
wall, I
is
have
new
no
wall.
fucking idea what you mean, because there's
New
these
wall?
two.
No,
Original
but that'd
half
be
wall.
new wall, right? Because it's a new wall. And then
Yeah.
the one on the left is back wall. Because that's back.
I
I
don't
agree
think
with
you
all-
call
I
those
agree with
other
all
walls.
that.
Those other
Right?
walls on the left-hand side, you don't call those
Because
walls.
I was playing ranked with Albert, I think yesterday, and then we just got very confused.
Okay. We could come
That
up with
one's
a
for
different
sure
name for
wall.
this, like lane or something.
I think we should call it just wall.
Just this one
Or
here.
half
We
wall.
can
Yeah.
just call that one wall, and then there's B back. And I'll
I
just
think
Yeah,
that
like,
should be
on the
new
left side
wall
considered
because
wall.
it's new. It's not like new box on split, right?
Like when you're retaking, that's when you're gonna use the backside callout. So I think we just call it like back right, back left.
What do we want to say? You say this is new wall?
Yeah, because it's a new wall.
That's true.
Can we just call that B back though?
No, but back is the
Right.
left one.
It depends on the angle that you're coming from, right? Like if you have somebody that's retaking from a different area, that could cause confusion. So if you have somebody that's coming like tunnels here, wow, why is this so fucking there? There. If you have somebody that's retaking from tunnels, I would think this is back. Whereas if you're coming in from like tunnels here, then this would be back. And that gets a little bit confusing because it's if you're playing something like Ascent, like back sight is really obvious, but because here you have 3 lanes all coming from different angles, it's a little bit confusing because like back sight could be here, it could be this whole stretch, it could be here, you don't really know. So we want to get a little bit more specific just to not have that confusion. If everybody's retaking from the same area, then it's fine, but just to tighten it up, it might be better. So I think this is new wall is fine here. This is obviously all of this is pillar.
I don't actually know if the default's changed on this map. Is it the same sort of area, or
it's
is
kind of like
People plant behind the box now.
people
Okay.
like
Yeah,
here.
it's behind the box
On A site,
usually.
can we have the box coming out of A main on your left be box and the crate in the back be crate? And then we just have box and crate?
Are you talking this one here?
No, that would be cubby.
Here.
So
Wait.
yeah, that's box.
I thought
Then far
that's
back is
bricks,
crate.
right?
I always
Yeah, you
call
can
that
build bricks.
I called
call
it
crate
yellow.
triple or yellow. Yeah.
This is I always
That's
call this yellow.
Yeah.
Or triple.
Yeah,
Triple
that
is good
makes
because
sense.
it's still the same call out.
But can
from
our
before.
box call out be the box that comes like close to mid?
This one here.
Yeah.
We can call that box, sure. Box. This is cubby. Well, we should clarify because some people call this cubby as well. Then this also cubby.
Oh, I call that Shazam.
This or here.
No, that one, yeah.
We want to call
Calling
this
that
Shaz.
Shazam. No.
Like after the
Just
player.
call it, just call it Cubby.
But then
Cubby and
Okay,
Bricks.
guys.
this is okay. So
Cubby and
here's
Bricks.
bricks,
Oh yeah, Brooks is super common.
and then this is.
How did you
cubby.
hear that as Shazam?
Oh no, Shazam just started calling it Shazam.
No, call it
Mercy
as
fucking
true.
God. All right, and then these are.
But he's trying to make his name like a Sabrosa.
This is obviously front titty, back
He
titty.
just has to let it happen.
Cleavage in the middle.
I call them
Fucking
pyramids,
hell.
so like
Yeah, this is right. So this will be back pyramid.
Yeah, I call them pyramids too.
Yeah,
Nah,
I was
that's
joking.
not the right way to play this game, Tobias.
This will be front pyramid.
I don't know if we should necessarily be saying front and back pyramid because like depending on the round and the situation,
Mm-hmm.
it always changes. I would just say them it's all pyramid.
Just this whole.
Because
thing.
if you're attacking, it's like right pyramid and left pyramid. If you're retaking, that changes.
That's
like
true.
right pyramid becomes left pyramid.
And then this is just in between. Like that's an easy call out between.
You can call
pyramids.
that cleavage
Cleavage.
or whatever.
It's
I
a
don't
little
know.
too many syllables, but it's
Okay. This is obviously
Or middle, mid pyramid.
door. Let's put that there. This is double doors or mid doors.
Yeah.
I prefer mid doors just because it's fewer syllables.
we could do stairs as well, like above
Yeah.
door.
Do you guys call it heaven or what do you guys call it? I
Bridge.
call it heaven.
Bridge.
Bridge. Oh yeah, bridge. Never mind, bridge.
An under bridge.
I almost call it like CT
This
when
is
they're retaking from that spot.
yeah. I always
like
refer to
underbridge,
like
but
anything in this area CT, and then anything here is under bridge, and anything on top is
Yeah.
bridge. Okay. This is obviously nest. Okay. This is all hall. This is just
B
B
main.
main.
Window.
No, yeah.
Window.
Do we have a
Oh,
name for? Do we just call it cubby, like the right side of B main?
We
Is
could call
just
that
also just
tuck.
cubby? Tuck.
Or dark, dude. Wait,
Or
if we
dark.
yeah, I think dark's good for
Dark
that
is
one. I
good
always
in
use
here.
it's either word.
We're gonna start saying this in comp, and nobody's gonna know what dark
Oh,
is.
dude, I do that all the time. I call dark on bind, and people have no fucking idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's why I stopped calling it in our like in general.
I just
People
ping it.
never knew it.
I mean, I straight up just call that gay corner and people understand. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
see, the
no.
thing is if you say gay corner while I'm streaming, I'm benching you. This is elbow, obviously. Okay. This is the whole map is tomato. Now this is mid pillar. I usually call this.
Arches on
McDonald's.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
McDonald's or arches?
Arches probably easier to say.
I'll say McDonald's. McD's. You guys better know. Tunnel.
Tunnel.
Tomato.
Do we want a specific name for like the art close to arches, that little corner that you can tuck into?
This one?
Or
It's
to
like-
the right, like but closer to spawn.
towards
Yeah,
here?
right there. Yeah. We don't have to have a name.
No,
I
I think
don't
when
think
you're
we
if
should.
we're retaking
Probably
from
not.
that area, it's pretty obvious if somebody says, "Yo, he's close left." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone will just use close for that.
yep. We do get jets sometimes boosted up into this.
Ladder.
You call that ladder? That's a good call out.
Yeah.
Ladders if they're on top.
If they're on top, yeah. And
Top ladder, and then that entire corner is ladder in
this little
general.
corner here.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like a call out for this spot because a lot of the time you'll see Viper players just kind of hiding here.
Death.
We could call this danger.
Yeah, danger works too. Never mind. Fuck.
Can we have a call out for that box in mid? That you could peek into elbow with.
Box. Oh, like one of these
Back.
ones.
Not that one. The
Yeah.
one to the bottom right of it. No, no, no.
The farthest one, right?
There
Yeah.
you go.
Headshot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down with calling that headshot.
I've never seen anybody play that angle.
Dude, I've
Tense
had
does it a
people play that
lot.
angle, and when they do, I get shit on every time because you just don't expect them to be
That
peeking
is
over
so
the low
risky
railing.
though, because like they're so close to mid.
Not if you're playing Jet. It's
I call
really
that
hard to get an angle on the person
Among
sitting in there.
Us.
Among Us. He's Among Us.
Sus.
He's sussy Among Us.
Okay, we got it.
A lobby.
Oh, this is important.
Shop, right?
That's
Shop.
shop, and then
Here?
outside of that is a lobby.
Yeah, shop.
Yeah, shop.
Okay. I've never actually
Okay,
heard that
wait.
call out before.
It's because you play with
I'm
black
gonna
players.
probably.
Jeez.
Dude, I had an
I'll probably-
Immortal to Silva today that went like 6 and 20 in my fucking game. So mad.
That's goated.
Alright, and then we call
I'll
this
probably
lobby.
play. I'll probably make new lineups if we want, because like, where should we default plant A?
That's a good question. I
Always on the right side, right?
yeah, because
Yeah, like I want to make new lineups.
like
If you
here,
Like,
plant the
usually,
edge,
right?
you can see from cave. Like the edge on the right side.
Here?
No, a bit up.
Here.
Yeah. If you plant around there when they defuse, you can see them.
Okay, so we'll
I
say
the only reason I don't like that spot is it kind of limits it to just the like up and down angles. Like if you play anywhere else, like if somebody like was lurking from mid, then like they're kind of screwed.
But it's dangerous you plant on front pyramid though. You can get spammed through the Viper wall.
here?
You know what I've
Or
seen
just
people
you
do
told out.
on pistol round, which is pretty strong. If you're on a sage, which you almost never will, you plant in cubby and you wall it off.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Tanner, you should definitely establish where you want your default plant spot to be. Because if it's here.
Well,
then
like,
the whole
what does
team should know
everyone
that.
think? Like, where
Okay,
the
just
X is
just
right
learn a
now,
lineup
like,
for both of the plants. And
yeah,
then
but where the
no
X
problem.
is now, like, sometimes depending how you plant it, you can't even see it from cave.
Oh, I always
like, they have
plant
like
it like here, right on the corner. So you can see
Yeah.
it from every angle.
I just planted a little bit more to the left, like where you circled it, because that
I mean-
way they can't use the wall to hide behind it.
Every
Yeah.
time I
technically,
plant
yeah.
front, I just get spammed through the Viper wall. So I just never do that anymore.
I've never
I
had
think
that
that's because
problem.
like, yeah, well, I've had it before, but I think that's just because you haven't established any
Yeah,
like
if
A control.
so if the Viper wall typically, oh wow, that was not, it comes across like here usually. You should
put it,
have, if you're
like,
planting here,
I
we
put a
should
bit
have
more
players
back.
fighting this area.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah,
So we get
One
more
guy
map.
did
It's kinda,
that wall
like,
in my
comes
game,
across like
and
that.
you can shoot. You can see over it from yellow.
Can you?
No. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's just say we'll use the same typical call out for default, which I believe is usually this corner here, like on this side. And then if
I mean, we could
Tanner's-
just change it to like front is default. That right one is safe.
Are
Right?
you guys gonna get confused though if you're using that? This is the general.
That's what I
call
call
out
that
for,
too.
for
I call that
matchmaking.
safe.
So we could call.
Yeah, that'd be
this
like a
is
safe plant.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we'll call that
safe,
safe,
and then default's
this is
front
default.
pyramid.
Perfect. Okay.
Let's do it.
So safe.
And we have like a center or middle plant as well. So
No,
that
no
gives
one
you a lot
plants
of
middle.
it gives you a lot of a main control on like sight on the bomb, and you're forcing them into a small spot to try and defuse.
Okay, so safe.
Yeah, honestly,
Everything
like,
is
because when I
here.
plant for the mid quin, I'm almost protected in between the two pyramids, depending on
Yeah.
where you plant.
If someone runs out yellow behind you on sight, like you're pretty much good to plant there.
There's a call out. I think people call this roti or something because there's like the shop right
Rudy's.
there.
And to the left of it, the entire lane is satellite. And below that lane is snake.
Satellite. I don't know if that's how it's spelled. I'm horrible at spelling. I'm an engineer.
Maybe we
this
call
is
between nest and bridge connector.
nest and bridge connector.
Maybe.
Oh, like here?
Is there? Yeah, is there already a
Let's
caller
go,
for that? I
yeah.
don't think there
I don't
is.
think there is though.
Oh,
yeah.
Tyron, and I'm. You see, put Rudy. It's Rudy's. Like
It's like
that's where
RUDY,
Rudy's
right?
thing is.
RUDY.
RUDY.
Oh, I thought you were talking
It's
about the
I think the name
rotating
That's
of the
where
shop.
that's where Rudy's shop is. That's where he plays the music.
Yeah,
That's where he.
but I call this Roti because it's a roti shop. But Rudy Roti. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I can. We'll call this Rudy, I guess. Okay, Rudy, like that. Okay. And then what were you saying? This is called Snake.
That's Snake.
Okay. All right. I think that's pretty much everything we need. Like maybe
That's
this area
the one
behind elbow
below
stack.
elbow is either stack or mid bricks.
over here.
Another
No,
one
no.
to
Under
top
elbow.
left a pillar.
Top left. Oh, here.
Yeah. It's
So
either
Stack.
stacks or mid bricks.
probably call it stacks just to keep it less confusing. Okay. I think that's all we need. And then obviously this is T spawn. Or this is CT spawn. No, CT spawn. Or attacker spawn, whatever. Sorry, not CS players. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Spawn. Okay. I think that's probably good. Okay. I will screenshot this and post it. These callouts. Okay, I think we'll do. How many maps are there in total? Is it 7 or 6?
7.
Is it 7?
7 right now.
Okay, so we'll do another 3 next week. I think for now this is fine. So let's get into the other topic that we wanted to talk about today. Let me pull this up. Where is it? There we go. Okay. So we want to talk about default positioning. We're gonna use bind as an example because everybody like we play bind fairly well. I just don't think you guys realize why we play bind so well. So I've kind of broken down the agents into types that we want to have grouped together specifically for attacking side in early rounds. So I view all of these. What the fuck? Hold on, there we go. All of these agents are typically the agents that I want to be seeking out early duels with one player playing with them, usually a controller. So what I would like to see is us running kind of a 2-2-1 setup most of the time, with the exception being Haven, where we'll likely run a 2-1-1-1, just because there's a lot of extra lanes on that map, and Breeze as well. But I broke this down in terms of just roles instead of specific agents because I think in the last season we broke it down based on specific agents and people got confused once they kind of switched onto a different agent but playing the same role. So Quinn, this is going to be important for you because you play so many different agents. You're going to have to understand your role on Sova when you're playing Sage and when you're playing Cypher or Killjoy. So pay particular attention to this. So what I would like to see for us is I always want the Killjoy, Cypher, or Chamber, assuming we're on a buy round and we're not doing a set play, I always want these agents solo holding at least 2 lanes. So say if we're running a Killjoy and we want her to be holding A side, I would like to see like an alarm bot here and like a turret here and have her playing off of her turret or something along those lines so that this entire side of the map is just held by the Killjoy. She doesn't need to aggress in or take fights early. Once we start showing presence elsewhere and she gets a timing on the rotates, she can start aggressing in and taking space elsewhere. But for the time being, at the very start of the round, that is the position that your Killjoy will be playing, just as one example. So for now, we'll write this out here. I meant to do this. There we go. Okay, so check that off. Now, I would like to see our movement agents, so Raze, Neon, or Jet, should always be grouping up with one of our initiators. And that allows for us to take map control in a very quick succession. So say we want these players to take control of hookah. So say we get Sova drone or whatever coming in here, clearing out all of hookah. We want this space so that our jet or raise can immediately get the entry into backside to take B quickly, or we want these players coming up short so that they can get the entry into U-Haul fast. So for another example, let's say we want 5 and 2, or what is this, 5 and 3, aggressing up this side. And then for the last two, I don't need our controller and fraggers, so our 4 and 2, to take map control quickly. But what I do want for them is to seek out long engagements like this one early, so that if we can get an opening pick here, that's really big. So like if say I'm playing Astra, I'd like to see an Astra throw like a suck or a concuss right here, and then have the Reyna and Astra, for example, swing together off of this and work an early pick. So this is, you can kind of see what we're doing here is we want one player just holding on an entire area of the map, at least 2 lanes, so that it frees up the other groups in the buddy system to fight elsewhere and not have to worry about flankers. So this is for Quinn, Dan, and Lance. You guys will be playing this role most of the time, so pay close attention to that. And it's going to be slightly different on each map or per setup. Like we also have other options that we could throw here too. Like we could instead have like Killjoy throw an alarm bot like up here somewhere and then play off of her turret and hold like all of B here. So we'll put in like 1 here. Cypher, same thing. You can do all the same things. And then alternatively, we have 2 players fighting for showers, which would probably be like a Sova Dart coming in here or a Sky Dog, something like that. Preferably, we'd want our controller and like early round fragger going for this off of the Sova Dart. So we would say like 4 and 2 would be aggressing into showers and just holding this until we can get kind of an entry into U-Haul. So then we would see our 3 and 5, and then of course we want to smoke here. So then we want a fast entry into U-Haul, and then as soon as that goes out, these players are funneling into site, and this player is either helping fight you or funneling into the site this way, and whoever is on this side of the map, you're lurking into B, cutting off rotates, or immediately falling back to site and helping and getting set up for post plan. So does that kind of clear up what our general default is supposed to look like here? I hope that makes it easier for people to understand what they should be doing. And if there's any questions, let me know.
Seems really clear to me.
All right.
Nobody asked you, Quinn.
He did.
I did.
Do we like
true.
smoking U-Haul when we push?
It depends.
I think it's good if you have a Viper.
I usually do. If I'm playing Astra, typically what I'll do is I'll put a concuss back here and then a smoke here. And the reason I put a smoke here a lot of the time is because we want the other player to be able to start moving up short here without having to contest from like 3 different angles. So I'll usually put a smoke here, and then we just want utility to go into the smoke, and then a movement agent to immediately like take this space very quickly and then fight back here. A lot of the time you'll see that like putting a star here will force this player to either push out and back into backside, or they'll hold like the tight corner here, or they'll move in here. So what this allows is, especially if you're a movement agent and you're using something like a judge or any shotgun, or you're on an eco round, this smoke is really strong because it forces a close engagement that becomes a 50-50 even though you have a weaker gun. This can be kind of a game time like decision depending on the round. If we find that they're not holding this space very much, or they're not like peeking this angle, it can be completely fine not to smoke this, especially if you're like spamming back here. But it kind of just depends on which controller we're running. Like if we're running a Viper, running the Viper wall here and then the smoke here is really strong, because then we can flash out and then pour into the site here, especially if we have flare showers. Like you get a good pincer in all of like this area site. But that's kind of a game time decision. That'll be dependent on what the other team is doing. So I won't go into specifics of that. I do like to, usually in my matchmaking, I'll throw a default smoke here. But that's mostly because like my team trolls and they always like swing here and not use any utility and just get picked by an opper. But this isn't matchmaking, so we won't have that problem. Yeah, I think we're probably good to. We should use Haven as an example as well, and I think Fracture, so we can go through those as well. But the same general idea is going to apply. So we're playing, we'll call it Buddy System, and it's going to be consistent across pretty much every map, save for maybe Split, just because the map plays out a bit differently than all the other ones. So one,
And then like the roles change a little bit for like Icebox. Usually Viper's
Yeah.
the solo person.
exactly. This is very specific to Bind. So one is solo / lurk. And if you're playing the lurk, I really need you to be comfortable with taking these fights too once we've shown presence elsewhere, because oftentimes players like teams will maybe leave one player anchoring on like all of A, and there's usually maybe only 2 or 3 positions that they'll play. They'll play like really weak Heaven, really weak in Vents, or they'll hide in U-Haul. Typically, is what you'll see. So if you're an Astra, or sorry, if you're a Killjoy or Cypher, and like we're heading toward B, I'd really like to see the advance into here and at least take control of U-Haul or like front of site. Because what that allows us to do then is if we get this pick and they're all like, of course most of the team will be rotating through connector. One, they can't come short. So these players don't have to worry about anything. We don't have to worry about a player coming through teleport. So the hookah players are safe. The players belong are safe. They can focus on these fights here. And then if they over-rotate very quickly, we can fight here for as long as we can for our lurk player to get aggressive positioning deep in sight. And then we just all take TP and we hit A and get A for free. And this is why this default for taking control of this teleporter is really important. Having the ability to instant rotate with this teleport is what wins games on attack. And people still don't realize this. Pro teams still don't realize this. Teleporter control is so crucial on Bind. I preach this all the time, and I've been saying this for 2 years now. If we control short and we control B long, we win attacking side. If we control short and we control B long, we win defending side. So even when we're on defense, rather than going for aggressive plays all the time hookah, which is like a lot of teams like to do, I would much rather see like one player holding this, like a Sage, and then if we're going to send an aggressive play, I'd like to see that aggressive play coming out long or short. Just so that we cut off this ability for them to instant rotate and we cut off all of their options. So anyway, one solo lurk. And then we
the only scary thing with an aggressive play short is that you gotta dump so much util into it to make it effective.
Exactly. The only way I would say we ever fight short aggressively here is if we're on an eco round and
we have 4 people
we
doing
have
it.
4 to 5 people doing it, or if we're playing like a Raze and Raze has ult, then maybe Raze can go and ult this. But otherwise I wouldn't go for aggressive plays here. Unless it's clear that we have a read or something. Because sometimes that'll happen. You'll see like 2 players fighting this every single round and they do it really poorly and they're not trading well. That's the time where I would be like, okay, let's get 3 people on a rifle round and we'll aggress here and we'll like throw a dart and then maybe a sky flash right here and then like a boom bot this side and we just take those fights. But that's going to depend on what your IGL is reading for that game. So now we say 2 and what is it? 4 early duels. And the reason we want them taking early duels is because their utility is good for taking these early duels, all of these agents, but they're not good for taking space rapidly. So this is actually the shift that I want to see, depending on the compositions that we're running, is I would rather these agents not constantly be the ones taking the first fight in the game, or in the round. Just because like we need that, especially on a map like Bind, we need that quick entry potential, especially on B. if we don't take control of back B site rapidly, it gives them way too much time to rotate here. And if they have control of all of this, we have no chance to take site. So, and then 3 to 5, playing for map control early with utility. So I don't want to see like a raise or a jet dry swinging stuff if you're grouped up with any of these agents, because you're giving yourself a harder fight than necessary, right? So playing for map control, then entry. Okay, does that make sense, everybody?
Yep.
Okay, so I will post this. So bind defaults. I guess I can, you know what, I should probably, we'll use a couple of different defaults, but this will be the primary. Lance and Quinn, when you guys are playing, and Ollie too, this will apply to you as well. Where do you guys typically prefer to lurk on attack?
I like to take outside hookah and get into the corner, deep close to market. Yeah, just because I can listen all the way deep into a short at that point,
Okay.
and I can wall to get out, or I could delay, or I could do whatever I need to do to just slow him down.
Yeah,
And it's really early info.
Ollie, just from playing Cypher with you, I know that you usually throw a cam here, and then you like to like fight B long, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and then Lance, I've seen that you also will like throw a turret here, alarm bot this, and then just kind of hold this side. So we'll say that this will be, for our default, our Killjoy, Cypher, whatever, will handle this entire side of the map. So we'd like to see a turret or something here, alarm bot here, like a Cypher trip here and here, and then like a cam here, whatever it might be. Chamber, I mean, same shit.
Oh, this is attacking.
Yeah.
Hey, dummy.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
Yeah. Oops.
Okay, so
I'll go into the corner right outside the wall barrier.
No, I thought we were defending.
I
If
know,
I was
I know you
lurking
did.
under, yeah. Oops.
okay, then
I don't know what I normally play. I normally lurk around shower for the most part, just get that TP control on the exit side.
You normally lurk outside shower here. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'll take a lot of space towards A.
gotcha.
I'm just more comfortable taking fights there.
Okay, well, we'll make another alternate default that will have our Killjoy playing on A side. Okay, so then I always like to have
Sage.
movement. Yeah, I'm talking when you're playing Killjoy, because when you're playing Sage, you're fighting, right? Like you'd be one of the players that's taking showers, or you're fighting short.
Okay, yeah.
So here, then I always like to see movement agents playing short because they can take control of U-Haul fast. So we'd put 5 and 3 here. And then here we would put 2 and 4. Now keep in mind, this doesn't mean that like we can't use supporting utility in other areas. Like if Soba wants to dart here, he can just come here, throw the dart, and then immediately run back to short. Because remember, this game is kind of played out in like 30-second intervals based off of, you know, your sky flashes, your Soba darts. So what I would like to see is, especially for running a Soba or KO, I want that knife or dart thrown at the very start of the round to make a play for space like this or space like this. So fighting for these extremities. Usually we can't really clear this out with a drone or without a drone or boombot, so I wouldn't say this, but if you are in one of these two groups, I want to see that dart come out immediately, or whatever the utility is, sky flash, dart, anything that regenerates in 30 seconds. And we want to take control of this, especially if we want to take control of the orb. So for this default, we want early dart here. We want these players pressuring into showers. These players don't need to fight this super hard right away. More what we're looking for is just waiting for this player or these two players to get control of showers. We're showing presence here. And what this is going to do is this is going to allow our lurk to get space up B long. So as soon as that starts happening, if we get control of this area, then we have the option for him to rotate immediately and start supporting the post plant here. Or if we get a pick or two here and we notice players are over rotating, then these players have control of short here. We can take quick TP and then we're in B. So that's the general idea for, we'll say, our first default, and then we'll create an alternate one as well. So we'll say bind default 1. Okay. Okay, and then the alternate would be same idea. We're cutting off this side of the map, focusing on the other end, so we have our solo space holder playing on this side. And then here I would like to see, and just because we can't really fight showers and then have our sentinel playing here, because then a lot of the time you'll see teams will aggress out hookah and then you just get kind of picked apart. So rather what I would like to see is, the idea is we want to NB, and then we see our movement agents moving into hookah, and we see our controller and fragger moving into garden. So here we would put 5 and 3 going here, and we take control of this. We don't necessarily need to execute immediately, and that's the big thing that I want to emphasize. Just because we have control of hookah and we have a jet and like initiator in here, we don't execute onto backside right away, because for us to do this, we also need these players to have full control of B long, and we want to get a little bit of info on site before we decide to execute. So we just want to clear this out and keep our options open. By the time we've cleared this and we've taken control of this, this player should be able to get some space on A, and then we can weigh out our options and see what's going to be the best. So here now 2 and 4, we'll try to take control of the teleporter. Make sense? Your silence speaks volumes.
Aye, Captain.
Alrighty.
Yep.
So this is our second bind default. So this, I'm hoping that this session is going to help a lot for the players that jump around between roles quite often. I'd be looking at Quinn especially, because you play 3 different roles and you play with different teams.
Yeah.
You're going to have to know this stuff very, very well. So I'll need to see that you're able to make that very quick adaptation into the different roles. So if we're running you on Sage, and then the next game you're playing Killjoy or Cypher, you need to be able to make that, understand the immediate change in what your role is.
Yeah, for sure.
Same for the guys that flex between basically any agent and Jet. As of course, like Raze and Jet, Neon will play similar roles, but if you're playing something else, like even another duelist, your kind of objective on the round is slightly different. You're still seeking out duels, but I don't always want to see, you know, one of these independent kind of fraggers taking the entry every time. I would much rather see our movement agents doing it, just because their kit is it's built to escape. So they can dash in and say dash into a smoke, take a fight, and just rat around the smoke and live a lot longer than if a Reyna just throws a flash and then wide swings or whatever it might be. So we'll keep that in mind. And of course, all of this is the ideal situation. This is assuming that all 5 players are alive, but this is just our early round positioning. So like if we lose our jet player or we lose our movement agent, you guys have to be able to adapt mid round. And if you see an opportunity to take space on your own, and even if you're not playing one of those roles that's specifically catered towards it, take that opportunity and just be flexible when the round start, like after the round is started. And this is where the mid round calling really comes into play a lot. So we've been at it for about an hour. How's everybody feeling?
Good.
Okay.
Pretty good.
So I think maybe we can now take the same concept and just apply it to Haven. And then I think after that we can probably call it a day here. So I'll get Haven open, and we'll be good to go. So let's I'll screen share this for you guys. This is Valorant. This is the tool that I use for all of the planning. I do have a subscription to this as well, so we have a playbook. Like you can see here, we have a playbook from last year for a few strategies that we used to use, like this one. But is this? Let me just refresh. There. I don't remember how to leave that, so we'll just go back. Okay. So let's take a look at Haven. So similar idea with some of these agents. I don't think this really changes. I have seen teams run Astrolurk before. But I prefer not to run the Astrolurk in this setting. Just because I don't think we're not at a point where people can make up for that coverage right away. Or if we're doing so and running the Astrolurk, we are just allowing more people to take 1v1 duels. So we at the start of the season, I'll say let's kind of see where we stand relative to the competition, and if people are winning most of their gunfights and we can win those duels easily, then we'll switch up the default and make it a little bit more free for people to take duels early. But for now, we'll leave it kind of the same. So for attack as well.
For the most part of my comp games, just for like our default, I found it's really strong for KJ to put a turret either in window or for the garage push and have an alarm bot outside A.
So you're saying Killjoy?
It's sitting right about there. She's got turret there or in
an alarm bot here.
outside garage and an alarm bot there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you pretty much have control of all of not inside A main, but the push outside A main, and you have all of mid control.
Okay.
And that gives your team, and obviously you can move the alarm bot around and like the turret or whatever, depending on whether they're pushing A or C. But if you're doing an A or C push, it's really strong, and you basically hold the whole flank.
Okay. So that, I think then we will integrate that in with our default here. If we have a Killjoy, then we'll run that setup. So we'll keep the numbers the same so that it doesn't get too confusing. Okay, and then so here is our kind of controllers. I'm not putting Brimstone in this list because I never want to run Brimstone on Haven because he can't reach the entire map. Even like Viper, I wouldn't put as a controller. She just kind of plays the same role in attack. But if we're doing this, then I'd rather run like both Astra and Viper and not a Sentinel, but I don't see that as very strong. Okay, and then we've got our movement agents once again. If we want to try out the Neon again, we can in a scrim setting. I actually think this is going to be pretty 1-to-1 for Haven. I don't really see it being any different. A map like Icebox, where there's less lanes, players can kind of move into different roles, but we're focusing on these maps because these are the ones that we've classically struggled with. Breach, I don't think we're going to be running a Breach on Haven at any point, but we'll chuck them in there anyway. And Sky. No, sorry, Sova. Okay. So same idea. I'll just write out the numbers again. What am I missing here?
The first fight people.
Yeah, first fight people. So these come down here. And then we want our Reyna, Phoenix, Sky, Sage. Phoenix, Sage, and Sky. Okay. So same idea. I'm gonna move into paint for this. 1 second. And there we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. So pretty much same idea. Positioning is mostly what we're going to be going through. 1, 2. I'm not going to write out the exact roles again. You guys can look at the other video for the other photo for that. Everybody should kind of understand after that chat. Okay. So with what Quinn's suggesting is that we run our Killjoy, if we're running Killjoy, holds. Actually, it'd be even wider than this. Does that turret hold garage too?
Yeah, if you place it in window on the top windowsill to your right, like close right on the window, it holds garage and mid, and it's just so strong on pistol round. And if you win your first round,
Okay,
Because
so
Killer Turret is like a 180.
the thing's got a ton of
Or
health,
vision.
and people trying to pistol it down. If I typically go sheriff and just turret on round one.
mm-hmm.
I let turret hold all of mid. If they ever try to take the fight with the turret, most of the time you could just kill them with the sheriff like for free.
Okay,
There's like
now
little to no
how
battle.
does this setup that you're talking about with the alarm bot and the turret, how does that perform in rifle rounds? Because that's what we're more
in
talking
rifle
about.
rounds, you want to place it more outside garage, just because
Okay.
they have to swing outside garage in order to take the fight. And if you're playing window and they're pointing their gun at the turret, you're able to
Okay, so
get
then
either at least chip or kill him.
in that case, then I think we would put more Killjoy in this realm, and she'd be kind of holding. Like we could throw an alarm bot. I believe if you put one here, it should reach, right? If Killjoy's playing in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Now this turret should see all of B coming out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will say then that Killjoy will hold kind of this area. Now, it will hold C long, but I think just for this, we probably still want to have. Check this off so that we know. I think we still want players here anyway. So what we'll do then is we would say we don't want movement agents here because, I mean, unless we're like ending sight, we kind of need to get control of all of this area comfortably before we can even get onto site here. So early round default, I would say we can put our 4 and 2 here. Because generally what I find is we really want Sova Dart for this area. Or drone or Skydog or whatever for sewers. So with that in mind then, we put 5 and 3 over here. And the main goal for these players, we want to take control of either long or sewers. Don't try to go for both yet at this point, just because we don't have the run support to take control of both and hold it comfortably. We don't want to force too many 1v1s. So what I would say here is if we're running a Jet smokes this and we pressure into sewers, or we can throw Astra smoke here for them to cross. Even like a Sky flash here, crossover, a Sky dog, that kind of thing, and have the other player play off that. So we'll say buddy system again. I am going to write it out just because it is. I want people to understand specifically the position. Okay, so 1. Just hold mid early. Hold mid. Mid. I would prefer, if we want to lurk, I would prefer a lurk into B. Having control of garage doesn't actually give us that many options. All it does is it makes it easier to like hold the site later, but you can get the same effect from just throwing a player or throwing a smoke here. And then what we see is if a player comes up and lurks B, you get a lot more ability to catch players on the rotate coming from connector. And if there's nobody here, having a player here and fighting these players CT while these players also fight CT is super strong. So even if there's a player garage or play multiple players in garage, having the lurk here is way stronger because this player can focus on just even holding here so that this player isn't super comfortable, whoever's in garage here. So we'll say hold mid, lurk into B preferably, and then if he has control of this area and things go wrong on C, it's a lot easier for us to get the lurk and take aggressive space on A if he's here, rather than if things go wrong and the killjoy gets stuck in garage, you're kind of fucked. So hold mid, lurk into B. Okay. 2, or this would be, sorry, 2 and 4. I'm still getting used to this drawing tablet, excuse me. Okay, so now we want the primary thing we want here is to look for a pick. And get the orb. And finally, I don't need to explain, of course, who takes the initial engagement or how these players are fighting. Obviously, you don't want your controller peeking first, because if the controller dies immediately, we're fucked. So generally what we want is controller here. Sorry, somebody's calling me. I'll call him back. Okay. Yeah, so generally what we would want is like a smoke up here. Maybe we take an initial peek here off of a flash or something, and then smoke this, and we just want to grab the orb. Then we can leave one player, shift, whatever it might be, but this is just the early round, remember? And for 3 and 5, we want to take sewers or long, but not both, because we won't be able to comfortably hold it. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. Does anybody have suggestions or anything that they'd like to see changed in the default?
No.
Nope.
All right. Joseph, how does all this look to you?
Liking it so far. Seems pretty well orchestrated. So
Yeah, it's every team has a different play style. So if you have experience on another team or Irfan specifically for you, because you're adapting to NA and I know the play style here is much different. This only refers to our default rifle rounds. If we have a read, I want you guys to be able to adapt. So this is where IGL's captains will work closely on this kind of thing. But if you guys are recognizing gap in coverage in any of... Why did it go black? Oh, right, because I did the thing. If you're recognizing gaps in coverage anywhere significant, any of these areas, you can definitely make use of that. So say if we want like our Killjoy to go and look for a good lurk in a gap in coverage that they've not been covering, like if they're not pressuring mid at all, this Killjoy, instead of holding, you can just put your turret here and you can walk into B. Or if they have no presence on C, and we can probably get into the site or like isolate a 1v1 against a player that's maybe struggling, Astra can smoke up here, and then you guys can walk up and take swing, and then just one person like peek each side. Like these are the kind of adaptations I want you guys to be able to make in the moment. So don't feel like this is such a rigid system that you don't have the freedom to make plays. If you recognize a play in the moment, I have no problem for you guys going for them. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see people, especially in supporting roles where their utility is important for executes, taking really unfavorable engagements. Because what we saw a lot, and we still see a lot, is we would say we have a Sova player. We'd see like a Sova player playing here solo, and then just taking a fight B long against like an opper that's like holding right here or right here, and just get picked immediately. Or we'd see like 4 players stacked up.
What Sova player did that?
The other thing we did see actually in your guys' last scrim for Team Blue is we saw 4 people playing here, and then our Astra tried to solo lurk mid, and our Astra got picked. All 4 of these players gave up all of the map control, and we just had no options. So what we really want to focus in on is making sure that we have full coverage. We don't have any gaps, and that everything that we're doing in the early round has a purpose, so that we're not just completely lost as to what we're trying to do. So I hope that makes sense. And you guys can apply the same idea to any map. Of course, we will go through specifics in the next session. But what I'd like to see is if we're playing like Icebox, like Tanner said, of course, these agent roles are going to be a little bit different. Like here, you'd probably see Viper in this solo spot. You'd like to see a Viper lurking up mid or just holding mid, watching multiple angles. And then of course your Sova, and you might have a Sova grouping up with, you know, these fraggers instead, because, you know, your drone is really good for clearing B long. So you might have somebody that isn't a movement agent moving up and clearing long, instead of having your movement agent grouped up with your Sova player. So there's going to be a little bit of adjustments, and we'll go through and kind of like really concretely create those structures for the team. But for now, IGLs, if you recognize that there's a slight change in kind of what the agent roles are, recognize that and talk about it when you guys are in agent select. So tell your players what you want them to be doing and how you want them to be playing before the game even starts, so that they know what their objective is. And now what'll happen is it'll be a lot easier for you guys to adapt, because if this isn't working, then at least you know kind of where your gaps are going to be. Nobody has question marks as to what's going wrong, and you can adapt to it a lot easier. But I think that that probably about wraps it up. Unless Joseph, if you had any notes, or captains, if you wanted to pipe in any way.
Yeah. No, I feel like this is good for now. It's gonna take some time to figure out how we're gonna adapt to these certain things. You know, everyone's new to the team and setting, so try to see how it all works out, and we'll get some adjustments here and there, just depending on how it goes during scrims and matches.
The other, I think the last thing that I'll touch on is this is what is known as a 2-2-1 setup. Why is this black again? So this will be our 2-2-1. So this is what we'll try for now. But in the future, we will also go for a 1-1-3 setup, 1-3-1, whatever it might be. Even a 4-1 you'll see us run. But usually if you're running a 4-1 setup, that's more of like a set play where you just have a lurk holding flank. So that would be like if we're heavy pressuring into A, you might see Killjoy just like set up an alarm bot like here, and then like a turret here watching this, and then just all 4 players, we split A, and you'll see that a lot. But I don't consider that to be a default play. That's more if we're in a set play. So for now, this is what we're gonna try. If this doesn't work out, we may also go for a 1-3-1, so that we can leave these players to play solo, we can leave these players to play solo, and the remaining 3 can play together and just play for trade. And the time that we're going to be running something like that, that'll be an adaptation. If you guys are finding that maybe one player on their team is really giving you a lot of trouble, or if the players in these roles are able to win all of their fights or most of their fights and they don't need support. So if you have a Reyna that's just completely snowballing the other team and is denying trades, there's no reason for this player to need to group up with them. So then we can get more support for the movement agents and more support for the entry. But that's pretty much what we'll probably go through 1-3-1 setups next week, or defaults rather, and we'll touch on them a little bit more. We might try something out like that on a map like Icebox, where you probably want a lot of, like, if you guys want a lot of pressure mid, or if we have VOD review that a team is really weak in mid, then we might run 3 mid, 1 B long, 1 A, and we're waiting for most of the pressure to come up the middle of the map. Or Ascent would be the same thing. We can leave 1 player pressuring B main. I'm just, as if this were like, you know, generally speaking. So you'd have a player pressuring B main, you'd have like 3 players pressuring mid and 1 player pressuring A main. And just taking control of all of that space, because Ascent is kind of a map where map control wins games. Like if you have control of A main, B main, and mid on Ascent, you're winning. Or even if you just have control of B main and A main, or mid and B main, you kind of want to take 2 to 3 of those spaces before you even execute onto a site, unless for whatever reason, if you have a read, their site hold in that area is weak, then, you know, you can just 5-man it in or split, whatever. But we'll talk about specific set plays that you guys can rely on too.
Can I add something for Haven real quick? Much like we're trying to take space on attacking, we should be doing the same thing on defending. Because I find a lot of the time, We just hold our own lane. We're sitting inside garage. We're sitting inside B, inside A, inside C. We're not taking the extra space, and because of that, we're giving them the opportunity to get so close to site before they execute that there's nothing that can be done. And now we're immediately playing retake without any chance of picking anyone off or doing anything. Like we should be, if we see that they're leaning heavy towards C, we should have someone in A lobby on A, and we should have the other person rotating over to B, and the B person rotating over to C or garage. And we should be making it difficult for them to take the site and not just giving it up for free.
Okay,
And
I'm
then
actually
making it
gonna.
difficult for them to rotate, right?
This is a really good point. This is something that we'll touch on this right now. Just while we have a second. This applies. It really applies to every map, but especially on Haven, it's really important. If you guys lose control, and this is what Quinn is talking about, if we lose control of, say, lobby and sewers, the players in B or C should immediately be pressuring flanks. Because then what we're trying to do is to limit their options and make sure that the execute, like, we don't want them to be able to completely fall off and us have no information for this whole area. So the way you want to react pretty quick off of, if they're using any heavy utility, and even in the early round, we can be contesting areas too. Like if you guys ever play Haven with me, I'm a Haven Goblin, undefeated in the last 2 acts, hey. I will often smoke window as Astra, and if there's any pressure in a lobby here, or if there's any pressure grass, I will wallbang here and then walk out and fight these players. Or if there's nothing here, I'll wrap around this way or wrap around this way and just pressure flanks. And these are the plays that we need to make, because you can't, by allowing teams to have a lot of map control, especially on Haven, because there's so many lanes, they have way too many options. And what options mean is there's multiple avenues for them to win the round. You want to cut off as many of those avenues as possible, and you can start to think of the game like probability, right? Like if they have control of sewers and long, and we don't have anybody here. So let's say there's a 50% chance that they win the fights on A and they take control of A site. Well, if we don't have any pressure coming from long or sewers, we might only have a 30% chance to retake effectively, or even less than that sometimes, depending on how many players are alive and what the guns are looking like. Whereas if we pressure here and these players are all stacked up in long and short, if even on their site takes, if we have players pressuring from behind both of these angles, now they have to leave a player to watch this, they have to leave a player here, and then instead of having like a 5v2 on the site, now 2 of those players are focused elsewhere. Now it becomes a 3v2 for the players that are holding the execute. Or if you are retaking and we have this pressure, they don't have as much time to get set up properly in their post plant. So now we're not just retaking from one angle, we're now retaking from 3. And say your probability of retaking goes from 30% to like 50%, because now it just becomes a game of just trading out. Or sometimes it's not even a game of trading. Sometimes it's just exchanging utility for a kill, or baiting out utility and then having good trades on the retake. And oftentimes that's when you'll see it come down to like a 1v1 or 1v2. So that's kind of what we want to start doing. So if you see heavy pressure anywhere, immediately start pressuring flanks. And this is going to be especially if you're in an area where, or on a map where it's really difficult for teams to execute onto a site without giving up all of this space. So if they're like heavy C here, well then your A players can come out and start getting set up to pressure towards C long. Or your B players can come out and flank garage, these kind of things, right? These are the adaptations that we need to see. And I actually do recall in the last Icebox match that Yellow had, this is a note that I had for you guys in the timeout. I believe it was Pilot was playing Viper on Icebox playing B site. And a lot of what we saw was the other team was like leaving 4 or using 4 players to pressure into A, and one player holding flank. And Sean, what we wanted to see from you was for you to go for the flank, fight that one player, because even if you die, it still splits their attention and gives the players holding or retaking the site more of an opportunity to take fair fights. So that's the other thing, is if you are on the flank, don't get discouraged if you die, because you're taking a 50-50 duel a lot of the time and you're not always going to win them. But even if you lose, it's still a net positive for the team. And I think that's something that we will need to really focus in on, is having a strong mental, so that even when things aren't going our way necessarily, even if we're not showing on the scoreboard, we're still doing our job so that we're not leaving our teammates out hanging out to dry, right? So keep that in mind. Quinn, I think that's the point that you were trying to get at, right?
Yeah, like we can't just give them the all other side of the map for free and let them push onto site with no resistance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just feel like we're not like I noticed it a lot with Blue and Haven, and we just kind of suck at it. It's just taking the space that they're giving up for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We gotta take more engagements. I think we're a bit too passive.
Yeah, I think you guys kind of got boomed by that by the chamber that you played against in that Haven scrim.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, when people don't know what they should be doing and they lose confidence, then things really fall apart. Because actually what happened is they threw a smoke here and a star here, and their Astra and Jet were just constantly pressuring A lobby, and the chamber was playing C, and we couldn't beat this chamber on C. Like, I think Irfan tried to lurk into here a couple times, tried to lurk up here a couple times, and was dying. Despite taking like 50-50 duels, was just still losing those fights, right? And that happens. There's nothing wrong with you trying to do that. It's just you couldn't win the fights because he's fucking crazy. So what we would rather see then is, in this situation, I think I touched on this in the last bot review session. If they're throwing heavy pressure here, we have two options. We either disrespect this utility, or not necessarily disrespect, but we counter it with, say, like a flash coming out here or a drone through. I think what actually happened is, I'm pretty sure Tanner just dashed through here and just fought the player here, and that's how you guys like counter that. Whatever works, right? Or the other option that we would like to see is, instead of, say, if we're talking our defaults, instead of doing a 2-2-1 or a 2-1-2 or whatever it is, we'd go 1-3-1. And we know that they're putting a lot of resources here to take this map control. Okay, well, we'll give up that map control. We'll leave our Killjoy, or whoever our Sentinel is, to just hold this space and make sure they don't flank comfortably. And then, if you know they're committing a bunch of resources here, obviously their coverage in the rest of the map on this side is weak. So we can send 3 people to take B. We can split and hit C, and start playing for map control elsewhere. What I would have, if I were IGL in that situation, I would have gone with this. I would have gone 1 here. I would have had 3 players pressuring towards B, and I would have had 1 player pressuring towards a C long, or at least just taking a fight here. Because the chamber was playing this hold very passively. So even if this player pressuring into the lurk here dies, he's splitting the attention of these 2 players, because they had their Sage in garage and they had their chamber playing site. Now these players only have to contend with 1 player on B site, and this becomes a 3v1. And this is how you want to play around a team that's getting very aggressive playing for map control like this. So those are the adaptations I'd like to see. And IGLs, you'll start recognizing patterns, but just through talking about it, you don't always have to rely on gut feeling, because what gut feeling is you've played so much that you've seen these situations and you've been punished by them and you've learned how to adapt. But what we want to kind of speed run our way through that punishing process and start thinking about things a little bit more, so that we don't need to play reactively. We can start playing proactively and recognizing what the counterplay is going to be for these things. Sound good to everybody?
Yeah, sounds good.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Tobias, you guys didn't get a scrim set up for today, right? You tried to, but couldn't find one.
Oh no, I didn't know how many people were available, so I didn't set one up.
No worries. So we do have matches tomorrow. Alex, were you able to reschedule the one for blue, or are you working on that now?
It's not the blue one I was rescheduling. It was yellow.
Was it yellow?
Yeah, I haven't checked blue yet.
Okay. You guys can check the NECC schedule. It is posted for this week. It's in their Valorant announcements. Where I believe I took a look, and I think we have to reschedule 2 of the games. So you will for sure be playing either tomorrow or Tuesday. Very likely playing 1 game tomorrow in the evening. So just keep your evening on Monday open.
I just made an announcement for UBCO Team Yellow.
Okay.
About the current match times. I'm rescheduling one of them, but that's the current ones.
Okay, let me just open up here. Who pinged me? Sorry for DCing. Oh, Will DC. That sucks. Let's take a look real quick what we have for everybody here. So Yellow plays at 6:30 p.m. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we can field a full roster
No, we can't.
at
AAA
6:30.
is Ollie.
Oh fuck!
Yeah.
Ollie signed up for the put in his
That
info
was
for
my
the wrong
bad.
team.
That was my bad. I sent him both by accident.
No worries. Okay, so we're available to play then at 6:45.
I told them the earliest was 7:15.
That's fine.
So, or
Okay.
I asked for 7:15 at the earliest. So.
Okay. Well, if we play at 7:15 and 8:30, we're fine.
Yeah.
An hour and 15 minutes will be more than enough time to play both games.
Yeah. I also offered to reschedule to Tuesday, but I have to double check with NECC. They let us do that last week.
Okay. So for you guys then on Yellow, it's a very good chance that you'll be playing both games tomorrow, but just keep it posted just in case the other
Will I be
keep an
playing
eye on
both
it.
games?
It's so now I gotta take a look at when Blue is playing.
It depends on the. Sorry, I'm just gonna interject. That was
Yeah.
Quinn, right?
Yeah.
It depends on the timing because Quinn, your availability is just a little bit later than the other guys on Monday.
Yeah, it is later, but it's only later for labs, which I don't have tomorrow. So like I'm
okay.
good for all tomorrow.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
My Tuesdays
that's-
and Mondays are bi-weekly. Like I need to be later.
Are you
So it's kind of weird.
So are you free at 6:30 then?
Yeah.
Okay, there's our 5. We can play at 6:30 if we need to.
Yeah, no, it's a bit weird. I wish you could put like a bi-weekly schedule on
Yeah.
I could. It's just last time I did that, we had so many fucking problems with people filling
Yeah, it
wrong.
it will be really confusing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish you could do it like in pink or something in the same thing, or purple, or it's just a different color from green.
We could create a week 1, week 2. Maybe that's something we look at because everybody's got lab schedules that should be consistent across the semester.
Yeah.
I'll talk with Alex.
Mine
about
actually
that.
changed halfway through the semester for some reason with that one prof I told you about.
Oh, O'Leary?
Yeah, he thought it'd be really funny if we just fuck up the entire lab schedule.
Yeah,
so.
man, that guy's a fucking goober.
It is what it is.
Okay, and
Is
let me
there-
take a look at the times for Blue. What's up?
Is there any reason why we're playing CSUDH Gold again?
I have no idea why they're doing that.
Can we run it in-house?
If you guys want to, yeah, we absolutely can.
Done running in house.
I have to go now.
No worries.
See you later, man.
Yeah, see you. Thank you.
Hey, let me look at all announcements. Schedule. This is good that we're. Oh, okay. I can also stop.